Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Trends in Living Spaces, where we take a trip to the latest design expos and talk about trends affecting residential and residential-like spaces. We'll cover trends we've been tracking over the past year, starting with EuroCucina in Milan to the Kitchen and Bath Show in Las Vegas, continuing with NeoCon in Chicago, BDNY, and brand new photos from Salone Milano, which took place just last week. I'm Gerri Chmiel, Senior Design Manager and Residential Design Lead for Formica Group North America, and I will be your guide during this presentation. We also want to take time to celebrate the 110th anniversary for Formica Corporation and 10 years of Phoenix. We want to thank you for being an important part of our two brands. This year, we celebrate the patterns that made Formica the iconic brand that it is today. You know, when we think of Formica patterns, we tend to think of that classic boomerang, and we're so much more than that. This year, we're honoring our classic patterns on a monthly basis with videos talking about the artists and designers who brought them to life. This summer, we will also be releasing a new book, Beyond Boomerang, which takes a look back at patterns throughout the years. If you received an anniversary box for the presentation, there are two chains. The first is the Living Impressions 2022 launch from Formica, and the second is a curated collection of bestsellers from Phoenix. I will note different patterns and colors during the presentation that are on those chains. And if you would like to order any samples of the Formica and Phoenix designs that we talk about today, you can visit formica.com and Phoenix for interiors-na.com. We'll have those addresses for you at the end of the presentation. Also, please use the chat function for any questions that you may have during the presentation, and we will answer questions as time allows at the end. And as a reminder, this is being recorded. Before we dive into the trend stories, there's three key residential lifestyle trends I would like to talk about. These are macro level trends that are impacting or influencing customer expectations and corporate direction on product design. Casual lifestyles are rising in importance. The desire for comfort, retreat, relaxation, and simplicity is felt in all trend directions, and we will see a more casual and softer modern style. This is especially true now as our homes have become more than just a living space. We need our spaces to be orderly and to function for the multitude of purposes that we ask of them. We've modified our homes to make them work for us, and in the process have fallen in love with them once again. With nostalgia, consumers are looking to the past for comfort and reassurance. Difficult times have driven interest in reinvented and vintage-inspired designs. This trend is crossing over a multitude of eras and is a modern spin on nostalgia. And finally, outdoorsy. We continue to see blurred lines between indoor and outdoor spaces. And where our friends used to envy our kitchen, now they envy our outdoor living room. And that's if we have one. Outdoor spaces became critical during the pandemic, and it paved the way for naturalized and stylized botanical designs, patterns, colors, and materials. Each year, we create trend stories to talk about the colors, materials, and finishes, or CMF, that are influencing and will influence living spaces. Our four trend categories are minimal, casual, eclectic, and classic. You will see some crossover, and you will see some trends that seem to oppose each other. In trend tracking, different CMF will have different lifestyles, and for every trend, there will be an opposite reaction. This gives us the ability to have more established trend stories as well as more forward-thinking stories at the same time. So let's dive into these trend stories, starting with our minimal trend, which is Scandinis, followed by rustic luxury, which is our casual trend. Maximum mashup will follow as our eclectic story, and new classic will finish out the group as our classic trend. Each trend story will start with a video, an explanation of the trend, and the color, materials, and finishes dedicated to this trend. Then we'll take a virtual walk through the global trade shows to show how our living space stories are coming to life. Through the Scandinis theme, we see a focus on materials and tactility, carefully curated environments, and the elimination of clutter. The Scandinis trend derives from our admiration for both the Scandinavian and Japanese lifestyle with their simplistic approach to design. The style represented in our presentation has a quiet, luxurious feel with honest and considered materials. Comfort is a priority, even in this pared down style of mindful simplicity. Colors are natural and layered with muted pastels to soften the simplicity of mostly white walls and bright open spaces. Textiles are soft and natural and include chunky knits, rattan, and cane weaves. Materials are natural and humble, sisal rugs, clay, and terracotta, and simple stone patterns create a comfortable and relaxed interior with a soft and subtle color palette. Calicut Cava and white alabaster on your living impressions chain are excellent examples of white understated marbles for this trend story. Light wood grains balance the muted color palette while dark woods give drama with muted graining. The pure grain finish with its soft and delicate ticking pattern adds dimension to minimal woods. Champagne-colored metals and powdery matte white surfaces like the Phoenix Bianco Cos on your Phoenix chain balance and add brightness to a muted color scheme. Now let's take a look at what's happened at the global trade shows this year to reflect the Scandinese trend story. We will start with color, followed by material and finish, and then we'll cover any detail and style stories that we spotted. Luxury beige tones feel clean, serene, and upscale. A collection of nature-inspired off-whites, sandy hues, taupes, and milky creams keep the focus on the open spaces. These neutral tones are a perfect backdrop for muted pastels, natural unstained woods, and texture. Many of these classic neutrals are made modern in super matte finishes. Soft pinks from barely there blush to warm light salmon are used as neutrals and are often seen in combinations with luxury beige. Mint and lemongrass greens work with light and whitewashed wood tones in Scandinese-inspired spaces. Muted pastels and natural bleached and whitewashed woods are the foundation for modern Scandinese-inspired interiors. Now, as we move on to materials for the Scandinese story, let's introduce Pittine concrete. This will be on your Formica Living Impressions chain. Pittine concrete has a simple gray modeling effect and a porous visual texture. The aged character of this pattern shows the history of the concrete material and reflects the relaxed attitude of Scandinese. Concrete is being reinvented with special mixes to minimize weight and surface manufacturers are perfecting the look of concrete while making it more maintenance-free. Concrete and concrete looks are being used for bathtubs and sinks, furniture, countertops, and even vertically on cabinets. Cane, rattan, and bamboo elements give a natural handcrafted look that connects us to nature while feeling special and refined. These relaxed and easy looks bring warmth and casual elegance without being too fussy or overthought. Influenced by the luxury beige movement, metals warm as well. Whether the tone is a soft gold or a cooler champagne color, somewhere in between gold and silver, these soft warm tones are bridging the gap between gold and silver, chrome, and nickel. The Scandinis trend story utilizes these soft warm metals to accent the serene color palette and natural woods. Stone patterns feature simple and clean white marble and limestone that are elegant and beautiful in their simplicity. Calicut Cava from the 180 Effects collection is soft and subtle, both in color and in pattern. Grainy stones, which saw their humble beginnings in terrazzo and recycled materials, add visual texture to countertops. Taj Mahal is a stone that is growing in popularity and had a solid presence at KBIS and TISE, the International Surface Event, in Las Vegas this year. So here's a fun fact. Even though the stone is named after the Taj Mahal, it comes from Brazil. It was actually named for the color of that great monument. One of the reasons the stone is so popular is that it replicates the look of marble, but it's in fact a very durable quartzite. Travertine is experiencing a renaissance and is going head-to-head with surface darlings marble and terrazzo. The earthy tone palette of linear cut vein travertine is universally appealing, and it complements the luxury beige trend. This soft linear stone evokes calm and serenity. It whispers instead of shouts. Breccia is formed when large, angular stone fragments are fused within a smaller matrix mix. It's nature's terrazzo, and it was well represented at KBIS and EuroCucina in both natural and man-made forms. These breccia patterns are small scale and embody the Scandinis granular nature of stone. Natural and clean raw maple, elm, and oak wood grains, like planked raw oak, pictured here, are simple and without ornamentation. Imperfections are celebrated, and bleached woods are the new alternative to Scandinavian beech. Charred wood grains, inspired by Shosugiban, add drama and texture. Light and natural woods are inherent to both Scandinavian and Japanese minimalism. Raw, unstained wood also balances the soft and neutral color palette. Rotary cut veneers showcase the curved elements of the wood grain. The whirling, expressive graining pattern is offset by the lightness of the stain colors. Charred, blackened, and black stained wood grains make an appearance. Mixed metals and hardware and appliances bring out both the warm and cool tones of soft black woods. These blackened wood patterns are reminiscent of Shosugiban, the Japanese art of charring wood. Understated color and wood grains call for much needed texture. It adds dimensional interest to what could otherwise be a bland palette. The scavato finish on concrete stone complements its natural simplicity. Matte white finishes present a contemporary look that is still approachable. Clean and functional white provides a foundation to Scandini's design and can create a sense of calm and relaxation. Matte white kitchens, like the kitchen island clad in Fenix Bianco Cos, featured at Caesar Cucine in Milan, serve as a central spot for the kitchen while being functional, durable, and cleanable. Texture plays a key role in how cozy a space feels, and there are lots of nubby textures wrapped up in curved, soft upholstered pieces ready to envelop. Combined with wood, soft stone, patterns, and warm metals, these materials embody the Scandinavian contentment of hygge. Of course, small details complete the Scandinese' clean and clutter-free look. Here we see that countertops appear to be floating. Layers of multiple materials are lit from below, giving Scandinese worktops the appearance of floating above the cabinetry. Notice how the lack of hardware gives a streamlined look. And finally, let's visit a style trend that completes the Scandinese trend story. Japanese design and lifestyle influences were prevalent at KBIS, especially in the bathing sector. Spa experiences for the bath offer sanctuary for mind and body. Products of note were Japanese-inspired soaking tubs, wood trestle vanities, kintsugi design, cherry blossom detailing, and natural organic forms. And now we're ready for our casual trend, rustic luxury, starting with a video. Rustic luxury is an elevated trend story that evokes warmth, comfort, and ease, with design elements that are casual and offer a peaceful retreat. This design story fits our desire for clean, uncluttered spaces, as well as a move towards authentic looking materials and textures. Rustic luxury celebrates the elements and invites them inside the home, allowing the environment to reconnect people with nature. The importance of wood and natural elements are the foundation of this design story. Colors are influenced by nature. Warm tones and earthy neutrals are comfortable in combination with pigmented midtones. The palette is natural yet refined. Hues are quiet and calm and feature new neutrals like rose, blush, sage, and blue grays. Character is found in form, finish, and detailing. Clean and simple organic shapes are paired with materials where irregular surfaces and texture become part of the design. Scavato and the new monolith finishes are an excellent way to bring an elevated texture to high-pressure laminate stone designs. Pottery and other handcrafted items have organic shapes and mix with clay, milk glass, cork, and stone. Wood, like planked urban oak, is warm and weathered, and living metals develop a patina or they oxidize over time and include warm, low sheen brass, bronze, iron, and copper. So let's begin with color. Warm hues of deep clay and terracotta deepen with a richness and continue to evolve. There's a new autumnal color mix where terracotta and clay play with pumpkin, burgundy, and gold. This analogous color scheme, where three colors sit next to each other on the color wheel, create a harmony of hues. And greens bring a biophilic sensibility to living spaces. Natural greens continue to infuse the outdoors into interior color schemes as they pair well with wood and autumnal colors. The birch bark pattern embodies the material trend for rustic luxury with its paper white color styled from nature. Characteristic horizontal lenticels and moss clusters create an organic design. A biophilic white option for interiors, birch bark is a new way to bring nature inside. Aged or living metals that have developed a patina over time are timeless in their appearance. These metals exude and character. They exude warmth and character and create an inviting look. Cork is enjoying a renaissance thanks to its highly resilient, water-resistant, and sustainable properties. Tom Dixon paid homage to the material with his latest collection, and because of designers like him leading the charge, aesthetics of cork are becoming appealing again, as seen by these examples from the past year. A rustic luxury home has one foot in nature. It's a taste of the country with an upscale look. Stones feature a raw or mined look with texture that highlights the pattern. Istanbul marble is a smooth and serene blend of warm browns and grays with a touch of gold. The rich, earthy color palette blends with the smooth yet rustic Scavato finish. And the palette is warming from bright white and gray to off-white, beige, gold, and brown. And stones are following suit, with warm beige, gold, and rust veins appearing on off-white backgrounds. New large-scale vein marbles are growing in size as they amp up the color. Rust and terracotta veins blend with warm white and gold. Simple black stone looks like slate and soapstone are understated and bring a more contemporary feel to this rustic luxury living space. Slate Noir, part of our 2022 Living Impressions introduction, and also on your Formica chain, features an uneven visual surface to give the stone its unique character. With a monochromatic color, the scavato finish imparts a warm hand and added visual interest to this dramatic slate pattern. Wood is a key focus of the rustic luxury trend story, and it features natural, highly textured wood that is warm, brown, and worn. Characteristics can include reclaimed wood that highlights aging brought on by the elements, bringing a softly weathered look, heartwood with prominent graining, and knotty wood. And woods once again move into the direction of orange and red, some with definite yellow undertones, and this is really a fresh take on warm wood. Imagine your grandmother's kitchen, and most likely you'll remember a butcher block countertop. Butcher block and planked woods add a casual feel and homey atmosphere to rustic luxury spaces. Finding use beyond the typical countertop, planked woods are being used on vanities, benching, and in outdoor kitchens. Here are some examples of where rustic reclaimed oaks and knotty woods are pairing with contemporary European styling for a fresh aesthetic. As we introduce texture to the rustic luxury story, I want to introduce a new Formica texture. The monolith finish brings elevated texture to rustic luxury spaces. Its organic texture is added to patterned stone and solid colors, and it really brings a distinctive low sheen finish and slate-like feel. Monolith on green slate transforms the solid color into a tone-on-tone stone. Have a look and feel for yourself. Green slate and the monolith finish can be found on your Formica Living Impressions chain. Stone textures continue to explore the boundaries of how stone should look and feel. These textures can be dry and linear or deep and highly graphic. Alternative surfaces also continue to introduce textures to mimic the real look and feel of stone. And botanical details enhance rustic luxury living. Growing one's own food is elevated with little luxuries, whether it's a small garden that will grow just enough herbs to enhance dinner, or larger units that can grow multiple lettuces and leafy greens. Gardening may never look the same with these indoor solutions to growing herbs and vegetables year round. Rustic luxury and mid-century modern styles share many of the same hallmarks: organic shapes, muted tones, a focus on materiality and wood, and above all, integrating the outdoors. The resomercial styles seen at Neocon also feature many of these style hallmarks, resulting in an updated mid-century modern feel. A muted earth tone palette, natural woods, leather, cork, and low-sung sofas and coffee tables. Now we'll introduce Maximum Mashup with a video. Maximum Mashup is a lifestyle trend that combines eclecticism with maximalism. Style lines blur as we continue to select designs that overlap. It's all about our living spaces becoming a playground for personal expression. Inspiration and ideas have never been so plentiful and accessible, and our ability to change our decor is accelerated by how we buy and sometimes sell things for our home. Maximum Mashup creates those Instagram worthy spaces that are both bold and eclectic. Found objects are celebrated, and a balanced and unexpected mix of styles creates a welcoming and relaxed space. As we seek our own unique style, pattern becomes key to express our individuality. Patterns and colors layer and overlap. They can be oversized, mix and match, and take influence from floral, botanical, geometric, and global. Wall covering is one way to add pattern to a maximum mashup interior. And Pinterest reports that searches for wallpaper is up by 400%. Colors are deeper and darker, creating moody and daring interiors. Pops of color are energetic, a reference to the Memphis style. Finish is a mix of matte and gloss. Metals are also mixed. And finally, this trend is not about hoarding or useless items. This is a carefully curated collection of contrast and repurposed items. More is more when it comes to color in the Maxima mashup story. Vivacious and playful colors are used in unexpected pairings and will energize interior spaces. Blue greens breathe new creative life into the Maxima mashup living space. Moody and dusky teals with vibrant saturated greens are not your typical nature-based green. If purple is your favorite color, it's said that you have a unique and artistic personality. Pinks, purples, and red-based violets are growing in use for interiors as we become bolder and more adventurous with the color palette. Used in unexpected color combinations and in daring graphics and florals, pink and purple, pink and purple as a color choice have become a way to express our individualism. Hello, colorful appliances. Goodbye, stainless. Appliance manufacturers are providing a distinctive way to add color to the kitchen. For the eclectic home, colorful appliances make a statement, oftentimes in a retrospective style. This is congruent with Maximum Mashup. This style story brings a unique approach to materials, creating a modern twist. Surfaces feature oversized patterns in bold colors, along with a blend of different styles and eras, resulting in an immersive space. Matte black metals have softened with cool undertones. Soft black metals are reminiscent of blackened steel and go by names like smoke, titanium, gunmetal, and graphite nickel. These new metals are both sophisticated and edgy. Terrazzo and terrazzo-inspired patterns are bold and chunky and feature colorful combinations. Neapolitan stone is an incredibly complex stone based on fusion granite. Layers of white, cream, beige, blue, and warm gray swirl and mix to create a complex and truly unique countertop. In other stone news are drama green stones. At the shows this past year, green returned in dramatic, large-scale marble and porcelain. Stunning new greens complement the warming trend in color, as well as wood tones in orange and red. Softer shades of green act as a neutral and complement terracotta and clay. Old materials are cut and reassembled to create new and intriguing looks. This trend began with the reemergence of herringbone in wood and white marble and is now being recreated in quartz and porcelain. Pattern is inlaid with solid white to create a new material, while scalloped edge details create drama. Wood grains are oversized, have a prominent grain and color, and can include maple, walnut, pine, and plywood. Painted wood floors would not be uncommon, and patterned woods such as chevron and herringbone are featured. The artwork for oxidized beam wood that you see here was created from the support beams of a 100-year-old bridge in Japan. The weathered and worn color, as well as the cracked wood design, give a unique visual texture to this large-scale wood grain. At the trade shows this year, we're seeing woods being influenced by 70s decor. Exotic woods make a comeback, and with them comes the exuberant graining and orange tonality. These orange wood tones complement the blue, green, and violet color palette, and when combined with soft black metals and matte black finishes, create an eclectic, moody interior. Maximum mashup finishes are a mix of matte and gloss, with deep and bold colors being enhanced with high polished surfaces. Shine is returning to many different surfaces. Stones and cabinet doors are getting the gloss treatment. The most muted color will pop when lacquered or polished to a high shine, and it will transform a wall, cabinet, or piece of furniture into a design-forward look. Artisanal craftspeople are creating handmade ceramics, textiles, furniture, and surfaces. With unique approaches and materials, we value the traditional crafts of the past, while we also add a modern twist. New plaster looks, paint scrapes, and trowel patterns emerge in tone-on-tone color palettes. And as we look to details, we want to show this detail of Ideal Edge, which offers a decorative edge detailing that brings a clean and finished look to laminate countertops, islands, and more. What you see is a perfectly finished edge. What you don't see are brown seam lines. New edge details materialize at EuroCucina, coordinating edging for worktop surfaces, add a touch of whimsy, while overscaled chamfer corners and edges make the island at Porcelanosa seem like it's carved out of a large piece of stone. Also take note of the sides of the island, which seem to float above the surface due to the black inset. On countertops, we're seeing layered surfaces, layers of stone, wood, glass, and porcelain are overlapped and sometimes just stacked one upon another. Surfaces are different materials based on function, so you might see that worktops are made of durable surfaces, while those lower eating height tables are more often made of wood. This layering technique brings eclecticism to the kitchen counter. Maximum mashup isn't so much a specific style, but rather a design philosophy. It's meant to reflect an eclectic and curated aesthetic that evokes one's personality. So therefore, there's no right or wrong way to decorate. What all what all the eclectic living spaces will have will be a more is more design aesthetic that uses plenty of color, material, and finishes. The 70s design style has long been mocked as an ugly mistake, but it represented an era of play and optimism. And after years of minimalism and Scandinavian design, living spaces have taken a nostalgic turn, where trends from the past are influencing decor in the present. Optical illusions, geometrics, macrame, mushrooms, and yes, even shag carpeting are just a few staples resurging from the 70s. The question is, will we revile these decor choices like we did the first time they came around? And travel is a great influence for style. With the Cabana Club kitchen, this was a feature at the cafe booth at the KBIS this year. It was inspired by fashion and travel. The kitchen was designed using tropical hues and bold textures and patterns of runway resort wear. Of note were the bright white worktop surfaces, green stained wood, tropical prints, and hammered gold accessories. Eclecticism and maximalism are all about driving personal design aesthetics, wherever that inspiration may come from. The use of bold and bright color, botanical prints, texture, and exotic grained woods are hallmarks of the maximum mashup trend story. And we're coming to our last trend story, our classic story of new classic. Let's watch a video. The past moves forward with new classic as traditional shifts to embrace a more casual and relaxed lifestyle. This trend can be hard to define, as some are looking for retro decor to place in a modern room setting, while others are looking for a modern interpretation of classic decor. But regardless of how you spin this trend story, New Classic has broad appeal. It can be adapted to many tastes. It's flexible, practical, simple, and accessible. The New Classic colors, materials, and finishes are inviting yet elegant. Colors are a rich but subtle palette. The neutral base is soft and welcoming with dark and moody colored accents. The hues of light and dark balance each other, and sometimes that's in a softened black and white scheme. Metals are flat or matte black, balanced with a new warm gold tone that shows a classic influence. Leather and velvet combine with modern textiles. Woods are classic walnut and cherry with relaxed graining and soft stains. The subtle natural grain finish adds a quiet realism to high pressure laminate classic woods. Lighting and furniture are timeless and featured scalloped and fluted details, and these details are echoed in architectural arches, beams, and millwork. The colors of New Classic are, well, they're classic. Neutral colors serve as a base for rich navy blues and new warm ochre golds. Classic metallic gold is reinterpreted as ochre, a vintage gold tone with just the right touch of luxury. It's inspiring us to create new memories instead of looking at the past. Ochre gold really gives you a punch of optimism and will make living spaces sparkle, just without the metallics. Navy blue in the kitchen can be considered a neutral as well as a statement. It's bold, yet classic. As a classic color, navy blue will not go out of style. Navy cabinets can read luxurious and higher end, especially with the new gold trend in hardware. Navy can also become more relaxed, paired with white countertops and mid-tone woods. Notice how the matte metal and matte Phoenix blue fez combination at EuroCucina makes navy blue chic and modern. For materials, we really want to focus on new metal hardware spotted at KBIS this year. Everything old is new again. There's gold aplenty as gold, brass, and bronze faucets, handles, sinks, and fittings dominated displays. Industry reps also reported that manufacturers were focused on expanding popular lines by introducing new colors and finishes. This new gold is somewhere in between matte and brushed and has a soft shine and a modern, elegant appeal. Pictured here is milky white Manhattan marble. It's a reinvented classic white stone. It has soft, dramatic veins of taupe and warm gray that traverse diagonally across the sheet. Flushes of blue-gray add to the overall elegance of this uniquely special marble. Manhattan marble was part of our Living Impressions launch in 2022, and a sample is featured on your Formica laminate chain. Now, warm veining is not just for white marbles. Earthy brown, gold, rust, and terracotta veining show movement to a warmer palette and are newly grounded in moody gray, green, brown, and black stones. Thermo walnut features a classic walnut layout with full cathedrals. It is made modern with a rich dark color inspired by thermo heat treatments. Classic mid-tone brown woods will never truly go out of style. And as we turn towards timeless, classic living spaces, these woods will remain a mainstay for wood furniture and wood decor patterns. Dark wood tones have nearly been forgotten over the last decade as light woods have gained in popularity. Many traditional woods, such as walnut, cherry, and mahogany, are coming back in style again and have a natural dark wood coloration. Dark woods exude a rich look and lend a certain gravitas to living spaces. As we launch into finish and texture for the new classic trend story, we want to highlight Tuit. This is a new texture designed by ARPA Industrial. Tuit explores new deep texture inspired by fluted and ribbed surfaces. And ribbed textures and surfaces that were seen last year at Milan and neocon and wood are now jumping to stone. Stone is softly pillowed and rounded, creating flutes of texture. Stone was also seen with the square cut ribbing popular in wood. The wood ribbing trend that started in Milan in 2022 at EuroCucina continues at Neocon, as well as KBIS and Salone de Milano in 2023. Vertical wood cabinets and walls receive a textural treatment that gives an extra dimension to wood grains and solid colors. Let's take a look at some of the finer details, like this ferro graphite tabletop with a thick brushed black aluminum banding. In cabinetry, we see the traditional shaker 5-piece door get a makeover. I call it the skinny 5-piece. Classic cabinet doors are modernized by minimizing details. This gives them a modern bent. And utilizing curves is a key way to soften a traditional style and make living spaces feel more inviting. Pinterest continues to see a rise in searches relating to curves, whether it's curved sofas, archways, or curved kitchen islands. I'm sure the islands shown here with their soft rounded edges will find their way on many Pinterest boards. As we turn to style, Quartzite Bianco is another fresh take on that typical white marble with gray veining. This warm white stone pattern has subtle translucency and features soft gray shading in the background. It has charcoal veins traversing the surface in a random fashion. A classic luxury stone is made modern with the matte Scavato finish. So let's finish this new classic trend with a couple of style stories. The first, arts and crafts movement began as a response against the Industrial Revolution. It did bring speed and efficiency to factories, but it was at the cost of quality and craftsmanship. Artists and designers embraced a revival of traditional handmade crafts. Manufacturers at KBIS and Neocon are also inspired by arts and crafts, specifically Steelcase and Brizo. They both collaborated with the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation to create their latest collections. And the new classic trend story has a nostalgic vibe that puts a modern take on vintage elements. Modern Art Deco influences have a vintage yet contemporary feel, and it lends itself to both modern and traditional design schemes. Subtle design cues are linearity, geometric shapes, radiating forms, symmetry, repetition, and simplicity. Art Deco was meant to symbolize wealth and elegance in a non-traditional way, and it continues to do so in these examples seen at KBIS just this past February. I want to thank you for joining our presentation, Trends in Living Spaces, Residential Trends Told in 4 Stories. We at Formica Group are always looking at color, finish, and materials from around the world to bring you the latest trends happening in living spaces. I'm Gerri Chmiel, Senior Design Manager and Residential Design Lead for Formica Group North America. The websites for Formica Group and the Phoenix North American Group are on the screen if you saw something here today that you need a sample of. And then I'm just going to throw it out if we have any questions from the chat that need to be answered.
Gerri, we're getting some really great feedback, but no questions at this time. Last call for questions, otherwise we'll say goodbye.
Great. Well, I'll say goodbye. Thanks again for joining us, and everyone have a great rest of your day.